Hello everybody, Peter the Book Lover here, and in this video I'm going to talk about 25 great children's books for people of all ages, meaning that these books can be enjoyed by children and adults. And if you're new to these books, these are going to be just as enjoyable as they would be if you were a child. These are all fantastic. So this is going to be a little bit longer video than I'm used to making, so grab some popcorn, kick back and relax, and let's talk about these 25 books. Hello everybody, I'm Peter the Book Lover. I have a YouTube channel and I talk about books and movies, and I have a great time doing it. In this video I'm going to talk about 25 books that are meant for children, but I believe that you can enjoy these books being an adult. Even an older person can read these books and really enjoy it. You could be highly educated and really get into these books because they are really, really fantastic. So let's get into these books. But before I get into these books, I really want to ask you to, if you like these videos, please subscribe, like the video, comment, and all that other wonderful stuff. I would really appreciate it. So, okay, I was thinking of making this video for a while now. And I had a list of 20, but since I've filmed this, I've actually came up with 5 more books that fit in this list. Now, these books are not going to be in order. This is not a countdown. I'm just going to talk about 5 awesome children's books. This is a little bit more than 25 because when I get into certain authors, I'm going to talk about a couple of other books than the book that I have listed. These are all just one author per 25 books. So let's just get into this, and let's start out with the first one. Now, the first one is a book that came out in 1937, and this is by J.R.R. Tolkien, and this is the classic The Hobbit. Now, if this was a countdown, chances are this is going to be my number 1 book because this book is amazing. There's a dragon that takes over a lair of dwarfs, and they have this underground kingdom, and this dragon, Smaug, takes over their kingdom because he's gold hungry. And the dwarfs actually wind up coming across a key through this wizard called Gandalf, and they decide to go on a quest to the mountain, and they're going to try to take back their gold. And they draft this hobbit, which is like kind of like a dwarf, but it's not really a dwarf. They're a little bit different than dwarfs. But Gandalf drafts this hobbit, talks him into this adventure, and these 13 dwarfs wind up showing up at his house. They have a dinner party, and then they go on this adventure and have all these wonderful adventures, and it's got a great ending with this dragon, and there's a little bit more after the dragon. It's a really wonderful story, and I highly recommend this one. This is one of my favorites. Now, this is connected to Lord of the Rings, so if you've seen the Lord of the Rings movies, and then you've actually read the trilogy of Lord of the Rings, but you haven't read The Hobbit, do not miss The Hobbit, because The Hobbit is a fantastic story. I mean, it is really wonderful, and it's for all ages. So that's number 1. Now, the second one I'm going to talk about is a book that came out in 1865. This was written by Lewis Carroll, and this is a classic, Alice in Wonderland. Now, I'm sure you've heard of this story and probably read this when you were a child, but if you haven't read this in a while, read this again. This book is amazing. There's no boring parts. This and The Hobbit kind of struggle for number 1 of my favorite children's books because this book is just about as awesome as Lord of the Rings. And it's just an adventure that never gets boring. Everything in it is really interesting and a lot of fun. You're fascinated in this book, especially when you get to the Queen. She wants everybody to lose their head. This also comes with a sequel. Most of the time, most copies you're going to get Alice in Wonderland and then Through the Looking Glass. both of these are amazing, and I highly recommend it. And the artwork is amazing as well. Okay, so let's go to number 3. Now, number 3 is a book that came out in 1964, and this is written by Roald Dahl. And this is Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Now, this is a story where there's this chocolate factory that has been closed for a while, and then it all of a sudden reopens, and he sends out 5 tickets, and they have 5 kids that come along and come to this factory, and these children are kind of nasty. 4 of them are nasty, 1 of them is a good one, and it's just a wonderful adventure. They got the Oompa Loompas. There's a great movie with this. Well, there's a couple movies about this, but the original with Gene Wilder is a wonderful movie. But the thing about this is written by Roald Dahl. And Roald Dahl has written a lot of children's books that are really, really awesome. I mean, I'm not joking. So many of his books are awesome. The BFG, fantastic. Matilda, fantastic. James and the Giant Peach, fantastic. Witches is the book that I read, and I was reading. I've always been a fan of reading, but once I read Witches, that really sparked my interest in reading very much. And after I read Witches, I started reading a lot of other Roald Dahl books, and most of his books have not disappointed me. Like just about every, the Fantastic Mr. Fox. Oh, that's wonderful. The Enormous Crocodile, and a couple others, man. Roald Dahl is worth your time, but this book, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, is an amazing book and definitely worth your time. Okay, so let's get into number 6. The number 6 was written in 1964. This is by P.L. Travers. And this is Mary Poppins. Now, this is a wonderful character, and there's a lot of adventures that Mary Poppins goes on. This is a very wonderful children's book that I really enjoyed. I really liked the movie of Mary Poppins, but this book was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. It had some interesting parts. There's a part to where there's a zoo to where the people get locked in the zoo, and the animals are visiting the zoo. Really cool. There's a dancing cow in it. There's a lot of great adventures in this book. There's a lot of sequels that I have not read. I've only read Mary Poppins, but Mary Poppins is a fantastic book. Okay, let's move on to number 7. Now, number 7 is a book that came out in 1961. This is by Norton Juster, and this is The Phantom Tollbooth. Now, this is another Alice in Wonderland type of story. He's in his room, he's playing on this car, and this car kind of goes off into another world. He makes friends with a beetle and another character. I forgot what it was. It's been a while since I've read this one, but I remember really enjoying it. There's a lot of play of words in this story, and this is another fun adventure that I really enjoyed. I do plan on reading this again, and I really enjoyed this a lot. The Phantom Phone Booth is a really cool book, and I do recommend you checking it out. As a matter of fact, for myself, Ray, I plan on reading it again. I really enjoyed it. So let's get into number 8. Now, number 8 is a book that came out in 1908. This is written by Kenneth Grahame, and this is The Winds and the Willows. And this is a story about a mole that's cleaning his little mole house, and he winds up going on an adventure with a rat, and he makes friends with a badger. But there's a character they meet on the way that's my favorite character of the story, and that is Toad. Toad is a guy that really loves driving, so he winds up stealing a car, and he's a really awesome character. My favorite character in that by far is Toad. But this is a really interesting story. This is another one that has great artwork, and I really enjoyed this book quite a bit. A lot of fun. It was never really boring, and I enjoyed it a lot. Okay, so let's move on to number 9. Now, number 9 is a book that came out in 1965. and this was written by Beverly Cleary, and this is The Mouse and the Motorcycle. Now, there's three books of this series. I've read two of them, and they're both really awesome. Now, this is a book that I remember being read to when I was a kid and really enjoying this story a lot. And then I read this about 3 years ago, and it was really, really enjoyable. It's a short book. It's not going to take you a long time, but this was a really fun adventure. One thing that's really cool, in my opinion, is how this mouse makes this toy motorcycle go, and the sound, and when he makes that sound, he takes off on the motorcycle. And it's a kind of short story. The sequel is very good as well. I really love his family members in that story as well. But The Mouse and the Motorcycle is something that I read when I was a kid, and it's something that I read as an adult, and I enjoyed it just the same. Okay, number 10. This is from 1970. Oh, my Lord. And this is by E.B. White. And this is The Trumpet of the Swan. Now, this is a fantastic story, but most people making a list like that would probably put Charlotte's Web on this list. Now, Charlotte's Web is a fantastic story. It's actually better than this. But the reason why I put this on is because I don't think you should skip The Trumpet and the Swan. This guy also wrote Stuart Little, and it's a lot different in the book than it is in the movie. I really love the movies a little bit more than the book. But this is about a trumpet that can't trumpet, and he actually learned how to play an actual trumpet. This trumpet actually winds up going to school, and his adventures at the school. It's got a great finale in this book, and it's really wonderful. Now, there's two covers to this book. There's one to where it shows a kid getting a little swan pulling on a shoelace, and there's another one to where it's just a picture of a swan. But when he's pulling on the shoelace, that's an actually integral part of the story. So that other cover is pretty interesting, but I really like the cover with the trumpet on it. But at the same time, the cover where he's getting a shoelace pulled kind of has meaning. Okay, number 11 is a really good one. This came out in 1900, and this is written by L. Frank Baum. This is The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. Now, I'm talking about The Wizard of Oz, but it's called The Wonderful Wizard of Oz in the book. And this book is amazing. This is my favorite book of these series of books, but I've read 6 of them, and 6 of them were really great. I really love the other books in the Land of Oz. It's a great book series, and I have another one that I'm planning on reading pretty soon. But the original, The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, is really an amazing book. You get to spend time with Dorothy, the Scarecrow, the Tin Man, and the Scarecrow. Of course, you've probably seen the movie Wizard of Oz. It's very popular. But this book is something that you shouldn't skip. Wizard of Oz, and the books after The Wizard of Oz is wonderful as well. Okay, so let's get into number 12. Now, number 12 came out in 1955, written by C.S. Lewis, and this is The Magician's Nephew. And the thing about it is that this is another case to where I should talk about The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. That is a better book in this series. But do not skip on The Magician's Nephew. That's a fantastic book. It's a book he wrote after The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and he did a fantastic job of making the opening to this world. The uncle is a really great character in this book. The witch is a great character. Of course, after that, you've got The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. That book is pretty much perfect, man. It's like a wonderful book, very entertaining, a huge bestseller. People really love that one, and I highly recommend The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. But do not skip on The Magician's Nephew. It's a shame they didn't make a movie about this, because this would have made a wonderful movie as well. Very entertaining story. I highly recommend it. I also recommend the whole series. It's a pretty interesting series. I really like The Last Battle. That's a really good book as well. Okay, so we're going to go into number 13. Number 13 came out in 2003, and this is Kate de Camillo, and this is The Tale of Despereaux. This is about a French mouse that actually gets in trouble. It's been a while since I've read this, but this was a really interesting story. This mouse winds up getting stuck in a dungeon by disobeying orders or something like that, and it's just wonderful, man. It's a wonderful story. I have a couple other books by Kate de Camillo that I plan on reading because I really enjoyed The Tale of Despereaux. There's a movie that I haven't seen yet, but I plan on watching that as well. Okay, number 14. This came out in 1997. This is by J.K. Rowling, and this is Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. This book, I remember when I first read this, Harry Potter was already really popular. We were at the third movie when I first read this, and I was amazed at how good this book was. You know, the reason why they sold so many copies is because they are really amazing. My favorite books are the first three in the series. They're all wonderful, but the first one is really interesting. He's an orphan, and he's being raised by his uncle and aunt, I believe, and they've got him locked in a closet underneath the stairs, and it is a really interesting story on how he goes to wizard school. Quidditch is a really interesting thing as well. I really enjoyed this story a lot. I highly recommend it, and you no wonder she sold so many books writing such a good book. Okay, so the next one is going to be number 15. This came out in 1939, and this is by Dr. Seuss, and this is The King's Stilts. Now, Dr. Seuss has written a lot of books. How the Grinch Stole Christmas is one of my favorites. But this story, The King's Stilts, and the 500 Hats of Bartholomew Cummings, I believe it is, that's another story. It's not in rhyming form, but it was a wonderful story. Dr. Seuss has amazing imagination, and I highly recommend you check out his earlier books because they weren't in rhyme form. But then at the same time, a lot of his books in rhyme are amazing. The Cat in the Hat is, I could read that still and still enjoy it. It's such a wonderful story, great adventure. And although Michael Myers, man, made a movie, and I still haven't seen that, but it kind of like his career slowed down after making this into a movie. But Dr. Seuss is an amazing author, and I think that you should check out his books. But The King's Stilts is something you shouldn't miss. That's a really good book as well. Okay, number 16 is a book that came out in 1926. This is by A.A. Milne. I'm not sure. Milne, it looks like. And this is Winnie the Pooh. And this is like a collection of stories. You can really read this out of order and still enjoy this just the same. They're not this like connecting story. Chapter 7 is like a chapter that really made me laugh out loud. One interesting thing about this book is Tigger's not a part of the cast, but it was still amazing because I really love Tigger. Tigger is a really adorable character, and he's a lot of fun. But yeah, the rest of the characters, Piglet, Igor the donkey, Rabbit, the owl, they're all, and Kangaroo, of course. Gotta love Kangaroo. But yes, that's definitely worth your time. It's a lot of fun. Very popular stuff. I'm sure you've heard of Winnie the Pooh. So the next one I'm going to talk about is a book that came out in 1932, and this is written by Laura Ingalls Wilder, and this is Little House in the Big Woods, and this is pretty much Little House on the Prairie. Now, I've read Little House on the Prairie, Farmer Boy, and this is the intro to the series, and this is a really great book. It's a short book, but I really love it. This girl actually wrote about her actual experiences. And Little House on the Prairie is a really interesting story as well. It's a very, very good book, and I highly recommend this. I do have the whole collection. I haven't got around to it, but Little House in the Big Woods and Little House in the Prairie, plus Farmer Boy, was really great books, and I plan on reading more of them. A lot of fun. Okay, so let's go to number 18. 18 came out in 1963. This is by Maurice Sendak, and this is Where the Wild Things Are. Now, this is more has to do with the artwork of the book than the story. This is a very short story. This is a story that you could read in 10 minutes. There's not much to the story, but the artwork is amazing, and it's a classic children's book. It's a lot of fun. I've read stories with Stephen King mentioning it, and the artwork is amazing. I really love the artwork of this one. Plus, the story is pretty interesting, and I really enjoyed it. Okay, so let's get into number 19. 19 came out in 1883. This is written by Robert Louis Stevenson, and this is Treasure Island. Now, this is a little bit more advanced than a lot of the other books that I talked about, but man, this story is amazing. It's a fantastic novel. It's great for children too. I mean, you don't have to be an adult to really enjoy this. This guy also wrote The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and I really enjoyed that a lot as well. But Treasure Island is a wonderful story. It's a great adventure with pirates and in that he's running, and the pirates are really interesting characters, and it's a really wonderful story. If you've never read it, I highly recommend it. Fantastic stuff right there. Okay, so let's go into number 20. Number 20 came out in 1876. This was written by Mark Twain, and this is The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. Now, Tom Sawyer is a really fantastic book here. Yes, this is a story with Tom Sawyer. He's a very charismatic kid. The beginning is very iconic. He's painting a fence, and he's actually convinces all the other children in the neighborhood to help him paint this fence. And as the story progresses, he's actually got a crush on this girl named Becky Thatcher, and they wind up getting stuck in this caverns. And they also have Indian Joe after Tom Sawyer and Becky Thatcher. Really great story. There's also The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, which is another great story as well. This is more of a children's novel. Adventures of Huckleberry Finn can be a children's novel as well, but this is more of a children's novel than The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. And I highly recommend it. It's really wonderful. Okay, so let's get into number 21, and that is a book that came out in 1971, and this was written by Robert C. O'Brien, and this is Mrs. Frisby and the Rats of NIMH. Now, if you ever seen the cartoon, The Secret of NIMH, that is a fantastic cartoon, one of my favorites. And just recently, I finally got around to reading this book, and this book is more realistic. It's still a fantasy, but at the same time, it's not as magical, but at the same time, it's a really wonderful story about this mouse that wants to move her house to save her son. It's a little bit different than the cartoon. I highly recommend the cartoon, and I also highly recommend this book. It's wonderful. I really love the crow, Jeremy. Really great character in the book and in the cartoon. Okay, so let's go to the next one. The next one is number 22, and this is a book that came out in 1941, and this was by Astrid Lindgren, and this is Pippi Longstocking. Now, this book kind of surprised me. I did not expect this to be as good as it was, but this book is a really amazing children's book, because Pippi Longstocking, believe it or not, she's a very strong character, like physically strong. She's got a lot of strength. She does a lot of amazing feats in this movie. When they take her to a circus, she kind of takes over the circus and they're trying to throw her out, but she's so strong they can't throw her out. Yeah, there's a couple other things. There's a couple people that try to rob her and they really regret it. There's a scene to where she goes to school, and there's a fire, and how she saves somebody from a fire. Plus, there's two characters that's hanging out with her all the time. Really wonderful characters as well. Pippi Longstocking was a story that's got sequels that I would love to read as well. But Pippi Longstocking is definitely a fantastic children's book. Okay, so number 23 is a book that came out 2012. This is Catherine Applegate, and this is The One and Only Ivan. And this is a story about a gorilla that's in a mini mall zoo with like 5 animals or something like that. And he's right next to an elephant, and the gorilla is narrating the story, and he's a wonderful character. I thought this was going to be very funny, but this turns out to be a little sad. This isn't a happy book. This is kind of sad, but at the same time, it's heartwarming. I really loved it. It's a really great book, and I really, really enjoyed this. The gorilla is really cool. He's an artistic gorilla. And there's a little girl that's hanging out as well, and she's a great character as well. I really love this. It did not disappoint me. Okay, so we're going to the next one. This is number 24, and this came out in 1902, and this was written by Beatrix Potter, and this is The Tale of Peter Rabbit. Now, this is a book that you could read in 8 minutes. This is a very short book. This is just a story of a family of rabbits. Peter Rabbit is one of them. He's got a couple other brothers and sisters. They go and behave, but Peter Rabbit is a bad rabbit, and he goes into a garden that he's not supposed to go into. The gardener, Mr. McGregor, is after him, and this is like a chase after Peter Rabbit. And at the end of the story, he gets sick from eating all those vegetables he shouldn't have been eating. And it's a short story, but it is a wonderful story. It's got amazing artwork, and I really enjoyed that one a lot. Okay, number 25. This is the last book that I'm going to talk about. This came out in 1922, and this was written by Marjorie Williams, and this is The Velveteen Rabbit. This is a stuffed animal that actually winds up becoming a real rabbit, and it's just the story of this rabbit becoming a rabbit. And this, I remember reading this, that I really, really enjoyed this a lot. I haven't read this in a while, so I don't remember too much of the details, but I remember it surprising me that it was very, very good. And yeah, I really, really enjoyed it, and that's why it's on this list. This is the last book I'm going to talk about. And there you go. There's 25 children's books that are for all ages. You know, these you can enjoy as an adult. And okay, so this has been a long video. This has been a half an hour long, so that's it. I'm done with this video. I want to thank you for coming by. And if you've made it this long, thank you so much. It really means a lot to me that you're giving me your time. I know your time could be used on other things, but thank you so much for doing this. I want to thank you for being here. I am Peter the Book Lover. Thank you for coming by, and I hope to see you in the next video. See you next time.